Hello everyone, I am your old friend Ole. Today I will bring you the unpopular American horror film Lost in the Pit, which was released in 1989. Studying the mysteries of the human brain, Remy joined a mental hospital. As a doctor, he carried out human experiments in the hospital. The patients disappeared one after another. One day, they would attract the attention of their superiors. His old friend Gerard persuaded Remy to stop quickly, but Remy refused. Turn a deaf ear. Gerard was worried about being implicated, so he decided to follow Remy to see what kind of research Remy was doing so that he could collect relevant evidence. After following for a certain distance, Gerard found a secret room. The location of this secret room would be extremely hidden if it weren't for the ground. There are bloodstains guide. Gerald never expected that Remy would actually build a private laboratory underground. On the shrinking table of the laboratory lay a patient who had just been captured. In the corner were piles of corpses. At this time, Remy suddenly appeared. He did not feel any guilt for his criminal behavior, and even planned to kill someone to silence him. Fortunately, Gerard had a gun, so he was not poisoned by Remy. The impact of this incident was so great that Gerald was afraid of losing his job, so after killing Remy, he chose to hide the secret room and pretend that nothing happened. 20 years later, little Jane was treated as a mental patient by the police because of amnesia, and sent to the mental hospital where Gillard was located. Little Jane did not think she was sick, but she could not remember what she had experienced before. It felt like her memory had been taken away. Just in time to prepare. Describing this feeling to the doctor, there was an earthquake here and there. The secret room was exposed to the light of day due to the shaking of the earthquake. At the same time, Jane felt that someone was asking for help underground. He told the incident to Gerard, who was passing by, but Gerard didn't want to hear it and even gave Xiao Jian a shot in the name of comfort. The next day, Xiao Jian lost his memory again and learned that he could not remember what happened yesterday. Gerard finally gave up. Never let others know about the existence of the secret chamber of hearts. Later, Xiao Jian met Chris, an explosives expert, under the introduction of Nurse Robin. Chris suffered from some kind of mental illness due to the influence of his career. However, this kind of disease rarely occurs, so he is the most normal one among the patients. The story is long and relatively cold. It is said that he has a habit of abusing patients. The young lady was stimulated by these gossips and had a nightmare that night. At the same time, Remy returned to the world as a wishful spirit. He also took the time to change into a surgical suit. From his current route, it can be deduced that he seemed to be planning to do harm to the young lady. Fortunately, the young lady had a nightmare and was woken up in the middle. She washed her face and thus escaped Remy's arrest. Remy was so angry that he grabbed Robin, who was passing by, and brutally killed him with an awl. Robin's disappearance did not attract the hospital's attention because of his reputation. The head nurse even thought that he had eloped with a security guard. From the moment she entered the mental hospital, Jane often saw Remy's figure. Although she didn't know who Remy was, Jane felt a sense of déjà vu deep in her heart. In order to find out the reason, the young lady decided to seek help from Gerard. Gillard successfully awakened the memory of the young lady's childhood through hypnotherapy. The young lady saw her mother in her memory and knew her original name. However, when she began to try to return to her father, the hypnotherapy failed. Added, it is no longer effective. Gillard guessed that the mother changed the young lady's name most likely to avoid the young lady's father. Only the father is a villain, and the young lady's heart will be repulsive to her father. For some reason, Bud, who has always been emotionally stable, suddenly went crazy. If the security had not arrived in time, there would have been casualties. In order to prevent such an incident from happening again, Gerard decided to put Bud in the office to repent. Unexpectedly, Bud was spotted by Remy and became Remy's next target. The security guard heard this. Bud screamed for the first time. I rushed over, only to see Bud flash past. If the patient escaped successfully, all the security guards would be punished. There was no other way for the security guards to pursue Bud. Without letting Bud guide him, the security guards arrived at the abandoned inpatient department, where the secret room is located. That building. After chasing for a long time, the security guard finally spotted Bard's figure again, but he didn't expect that Bard in front of him had been brutally murdered by Remy. Although the security guard reacted quickly, the first thing she thought about was that she should run away, but in the end she was ambushed by Remy and fell into his hands. Not long after, the lady woke up again in the middle of the night because of a nightmare. When she woke up, she still saw Remy. This time, Remy did not hide. He even took the initiative to throw out the security guard's head, but he was helpless. What the lady saw was still an illusion. Even if he told the nurse truthfully, he would only inject the lady with a sedative. The lady had no choice but to ask for help from Gerard again, although she did not know Remy's name, but it can accurately describe Remy's appearance. Hearing the bullet hole on his forehead, Gerard instantly recalled Remy. He couldn't believe that Remy was still alive in the world and could only find various reasons to persuade himself. As a result, while chatting, Xiao Zhen's body was inexplicably poisoned, and through Xiao Zhen's mouth, Remy confessed his arrival and at the same time expressed that he will take revenge on Gerard. Gerard will definitely die without a burial place. Hearing this, how can Gerard remain calm? Even if little Jane returns to normal, he will still blast little Jane away. Now that he can help, Xiao Zhen's is all that's left. Although Chris didn't quite understand the lady's description, Chris finally decided to act as the lady's right-hand man and help the lady escape. According to Chris's plan, Miss Jerry pretended to take medicine and deceived the head nurse. The main reason why Chris is willing to help the lady is because he also wants to escape from this mental hospital. Since the patients have to drink medicine before going to bed, the security in a hospital is not strict. The only trouble is that the back door is locked. The only thing we could do was forcefully pry open the pry, which would naturally lead the security guard to see Chris. He fell into the hands of the security guard. The lady actually did not take the blame because she was attracted by some kind of force and planned to go into the abandoned hospital ward to take a look. The internal lady in the inpatient department met Robin. Since she didn't know that Robin was dead, the lady kept chasing after her until she fell into Remy's trap. Remy saw that the time was ripe, so she took the initiative to appear in front of Xiao Zhen. This time she was not an illusion. Xiao Zhen realized that she had been deceived and quickly turned around and ran away. Fortunately, he had a good memory and remembered that he didn't stop on the way back and didn't give Remy a chance. Just when Jane rushed out of the door and thought she had evacuated safely, Remy suddenly appeared. The young lady fainted on the spot because of the excessive suffering. Different from the treatment given by others, the young lady was not killed after being caught, but she could watch Remy's darkness from the first-person perspective. After a long spell-casting performance, Remy successfully completed the ritual. Those who had been killed by Remy turned into zombies and headed for the main building of the mental hospital through the secret passage. These zombies all bypassed little Jane and did not attack little Jane, making little Jane confused. What's even more strange is that even Remy left after that. The young lady was ignored in all kinds of ways. Chris, who finally escaped, was the first to see the zombies everywhere, and he quickly hid in the dark and waited until all the zombies left the inpatient unit before he went in to rescue the young lady. Although there are zombies that come back, but fortunately there are not many of them. As long as a group of zombies doesn't attack, Chris can still cope with it. The two men lost contact one after another. He thought they were absent from work tonight until he heard Rubin shouting from the toilet. He finally realized that something was wrong. Unfortunately, he realized that it was too late now. After all, zombies have surrounded this building. There are many cars in the courtyard. With them, they can escape. Unexpectedly, the first thing the zombies did when they came out was to dismantle all the car engines. Jane and Chris were busy in vain. One game. Before the zombies invaded the main building, Gerard bumped into the zombies first. The head nurse turned around and witnessed the attack of the corpse nest. The security guard on duty did not know the truth and died tragically at the mouth of the zombies. Gerard could not do anything but hide in the dark, praying not to be discovered. In the process of avoiding zombies, Zilla accidentally bumped into Xiao Jane and Chris Yankee. With their fierce strength, Zilla fought his way out of the corpse trough. Zilla therefore. An old life was saved. When the three of them were discussing countermeasures in the office, Gerald accidentally said Remy's name. Faced with Chris and the lady's questioning, he could only confess the past 20 years ago. Remy is a genius and has made great achievements in the field of brain. Gerald admired Remy very much, so he helped conceal the research. However, he did not expect that Remy would later conduct human experiments. It is probably because of the influence of underground demons, otherwise he would not have a temperament. He even did not hesitate to do something to Gillard. If he had chosen to call the police, there would be no chance for Remy to be resurrected. In order to make up for his mistake, Gillard decided to send Remy to hell again. With Gillard attracting firepower, the pressure on Jane and Chris dropped sharply. They were hiding back. In the process of getting rid of the zombies, I ran into a nun who was talking all day long. I never expected that the cup of so-called holy water in the nun's hand could easily decompose the zombies. It turned out that the person closest to God was a madman. How could the military comrades have expected that the person they laughed at every day was actually God's spokesperson? Afterwards, Jane used God's instructions as an excuse to hold the nun's farthest water tank and bless it. The water in the tank can become holy water if it is blessed. Chris's plan is to blow up the tank and lead the water in the tank to the secret room. The underground demon is probably deep underground in the secret room on the other side. Although Gerard successfully broke through the zombies, surrounded and met Remy, whom he had never dared to see, but Remy was no longer a human being. The bullets hitting him could not cause any damage, not to mention that Remy also had a group of zombie helpers. There was no doubt about the outcome of this showdown. To punish Remy, he cut open Gerard's skull and played with Gerard's exposed brain. After searching for a long time, Chris finally found the materials needed to make an improvised bomb. The next step was to find a way to climb the water tank tower. At this time, a zombie suddenly launched a sneak attack on Jane. Although Chris rescued her in time, Jane was still too nervous and threw out a large bag of holy water. Chris had to save bullets to install the bomb, which could be done by one was to find a place to hide so as not to be caught by zombies. During this process, Xiao Jian once again lost control of her body for no apparent reason and ran to the inpatient department involuntarily. Fortunately, he regained control of his body when he met Remy, otherwise he would have fallen into Remy's hands again. Now he could only rely on the nun for protection. However, he did not expect that the nun in front of him was Remy pretending to be. The war nun has disappeared. At the critical moment, Jane finally recovers her memory and recognizes Remy as her father. At the same time, surrounded by zombies, Chris detonated a bomb and killed all the zombies. The plan went smoothly. After the water tank was destroyed, the box of holy water successfully flowed from the rooftop according to the designated route. The demon that flowed all the way into the secret room was baptized with holy water and was instantly wiped out. Remy's power came from the demon. The demon is dead. Naturally, he will leave with him. It's finally over. I will never be controlled by Remy again. As soon as Xiao Jian thought of this, he was shot by Remy. It turned out that Remy was in Xiao Jian's body as soon as he got the power. Seeded. In this way, even if the devil dies, it doesn't matter. He can still see Xiao Jian's body and continue to live as Xiao Jian. No wonder Xiao Jian has lost his memory at every turn. Remy has never killed Xiao Jian. It turns out that it is because Xiao Jian has seeds in his body. That's it for today's movie. I'm Olay. See you next time.